He may contain the urge to run away, but hold her down with soggy clothes and breeze blocks. Cetirizine, your fever scream me again. Never kisses, or do you ever send a full stop? Do you know where the muffins go? They go along to take your honey. Way down how we build our breakfast down and say my love, love, love. Muscle to muscle, toe to toe. The fear grip me, but here I go. My heart sings as I jump up. Your hand grips and as my heart is shutting up.
What is good, everyone? Richard here from Weed City Soul, and we're here to do a performance review on the Adidas Harden Volume 1. Now, word has it that James Harden had a higher than average amount of input into the design of this shoe, even more so than your average signature athlete. And it manifests itself in visions of shoes he's already worn. The overall collar shape from the Zoom Run the One, asymmetrical lacing from the Hyper Chase, and the toe cap from the Crazy Light Boost 2.5. So basically he just went with what he knows. Does James Harden know performance? We're about to find out. Start as usual with the cushioning. Full length boost foam. Just like the rest of Adidas' 2016 lineup, the Boost is in cage for the most part on a majority of the lateral side, and then exposed on the medial side, giving it the room to expand and contract the way it needs to give you that Boost feeling. So is it good at its job? It is. It gives you that unparalleled Boost impact protection in a relatively low profile manner. Noticeable immediately, there's considerably less boost in this shoe than there is in the Crazy Light Boost 2016 or the Adidas Crazy Explosive, but it still does its job really well. Impact protection is excellent, and it leaves you with a fair bit of court feel in the front as well. It's not quite top of the line court feel, but it's right there. You can still move really quickly and responsively in this, especially because the Boost, again, like we've seen in all of Adidas' basketball shoes this year, it's on the firm side, which really is better for basketball. We still haven't seen an Adidas basketball shoe with that running shoe feel inside of it. Even the Crazy Explosive didn't really do that. Just with that bouncy, responsive boost. It may be a while until we see something like that, but these work pretty well for the most part. Now, one thing I'd like to mention about the midsole is you'll notice that there's a pretty standard outrigger on the lateral side of the shoe, but on the medial side of the shoe, the upper doesn't quite reach all the way to the end of the Boost, leaving this hangover here. I don't know if you can see that in great detail, but what this does is act like a medial side outrigger as well. And what that does is provide you with a really wide base on which to operate, and I really appreciated that. I thought it gave me a little bit of extra control, especially when there were other problems arising, which we'll go into in a little bit. But the wide base was really helpful. I was a big fan of that. Transition was nothing special. Running up and down the court wasn't hindered by these at all, but it also wasn't the smoothest ride. It was a little clunky. I think the shoe's overall shape kind of comes to light when you really start sprinting up and down the court in them, and then it's a tiny bit clunky. Another thing to note is that the Boost on this shoe is highly contoured to the shape of the underfoot. I believe that this helps overall in just helping the shoe protect you from impact, as well as providing a better, more natural feel underfoot when you're looking at court feel. Boost has yet to create really great court feel in a shoe thus far, in my opinion. But it's nice to see that Adidas is making steps towards giving you that really agile Boost shoe that can still give you the impact protection and hopefully the bounce that everyone knows Boost is really great at. And here's the other thing about the shoe is just like the other 2016 Adidas shoes this year, this thing is heavy, man. I'm not sure if that's due to the Boost specifically or how much Boost they pack into it. There are a few other attributes to the shoe that would make it heavy as well, but man, Boost shoes they're just bricks, man. I don't know what's up with that. The shoe features a knitted material backed by nylon and a structured foam. From there, all this knitted material runs underneath a separate leather toe cap. The shoe features a wrapped tongue, which just tucks right into the rest of the upper right there. And the closure system is an asymmetrical lacing system. And on that asymmetrical lacing system, it works all right in terms of containment. My problem is that because this whole upper is just so stiff, and because they used a really firm, harsh lace, and because of the way that the eyelets are set up, this thing is just kind of a pain in the ass to lace up. Once you get your foot in and once you pull tight, they're not moving because of the way the laces fit through the eyelets, which is really a good thing, but honestly, it's just every loop is just a bit of a pain in the ass because it holds so tight like that. It reminds me of the LeBron 12 a little bit. It was kind of just a pet peeve of mine on this shoe. Now I went down half a size to a 10 because of that aforementioned wide base on the shoe and the fact that Adidas' 2016 basketball lineup does seem to run a little long, and these ended up fitting me perfectly lengthwise. The shoe actually fits quite well throughout the midfoot and forefoot area. I felt really locked in and like my foot wasn't going to be moving anywhere on the footbed. The heel, however, I did feel a little bit of heel slip. It wasn't super noticeable when I was playing, but it never quite went away entirely, although the shoe did start to fit better and better every time I put them on because this is a really stiff upper overall. It'll take you some time to work it in, but when you do, it becomes quite comfortable. Support in the shoe is actually quite good, starting first and foremost with that extra wide base. The shoe is actually, it's just a really stable shoe when you're moving around. That base was able to help me regain my balance after I made moves where I lost my center of gravity or I just had to change directions quickly. It was really great for that. Other than that, the shoe features a pretty sizable heel counter that starts right about there and runs almost all the way up the back of the shoe. It works in tandem with the independent toe cap to really make sure your foot stays on the footbed. Another thing to note is that my foot lengthwise falls perfectly on this line with this leather toe cap, and this thing is kind of painful and it's not particularly easy to work in. This is some good quality leather, and it's still taking a while to really make this a comfortable transitional part of the shoe. It's still doing a fair bit of digging. And another thing specifically on this leather toe cap, a lot of people who grew up in the 90s like me, they're like, bring leather back on the basketball shoes. No, that's not me. That's a terrible idea. Leather is heavy, it's not breathable, and it's not the most comfortable stuff if it's just mashing right on your toe on the ledge of a piece like this. It takes a while to break in, so I'm not really on that thought train where people bring back the leather. No, I'd actually like to see a version of this where they provide a toe cap with a modern material, maybe a fuse or a mesh that still keeps your foot contained like this does, but just reduces the weight and increases the breathability. On to the traction. This spiral graph style pattern is apparently data mapped to James Harden's movements. It's a very specific traction pattern. Does it work? Yeah, it works pretty well. You can see that there's just a lot of coverage on the bottom and that the traction pattern runs a little bit up the side of the shoe. And again, working with that wide base, it just helps to keep everything really stable, that you can change directions and move where you feel like moving without coming off the footbed or without the shoe just slipping and sliding underneath you. Not that I didn't have any sliding problems, I did, but I just learned to wipe pretty frequently and things worked out well. Now, I don't know if you can really see on camera how much dust is in each one of these pockets, but it's a lot. Again, I gotta stress that this is not that naturally just biting type of traction. You really gotta wipe fairly frequently, and when you do, it does work well enough. While this outsole is solid rubber, what you can expect to find inside this shoe is that infinity-shaped midfoot shank to just give you some torsional rigidity and support throughout the midfoot. So if you're looking for a shoe with excellent build quality that has great cushioning with top-notch impact protection and solid court feel with some strong traction, the Adidas Harden Volume 1 might be for you. If you're looking for a shoe that's light, nimble, and comfortable with a lockdown fit throughout and stop on a dime traction, the Adidas Harden Volume 1 probably isn't for you. Is this shoe worth your money? It's a solid shoe if you're a James Harden fan and you're just looking for something well-rounded overall, it'd be worth it to take a look at this. If you're looking for anything really, really specific, especially in a guard shoe, there are better guard shoes out there. So if this review has been helpful to you at all, please comment, like, and hit that subscribe button below. It really helps us out. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Wheat City Soul. My name's Richard, and until next time, they're just shoes.